In 1977, 3 scientists went into the jungles of Flores, Indonesia, to study birds. Only one of them came out. Dr. Timothy Darrow. The authorities eventually found one of the missing members of Darrow's team. His corpse was butchered almost beyond recognition. Investigators never found any remains of the other victim. Tim Darrow was charged with double homicide and suspected of cannibalism. Darrow maintained his innocence throughout the trial. He claimed something else was the culprit. He tried to convince the court that creatures from the jungle were responsible, that a local myth had murdered his friends. No one believed Tim Darrow. What he claimed to have seen, what he claimed killed his friends. I mean, what he said he saw was impossible. But I believe Timothy Darrow was telling the truth.
Tim was the first in the family to go to college. And he became a PhD, a scientist. He was the most wonderful older brother. When we first heard about the crimes that he'd been charged with, we couldn't believe he was capable of it.
I would describe the Tim Darrow case as the Indonesian equivalent of your O.J. Simpson trial. It was that big at the time. Darrow, an American ornithologist, was convicted of killing a fellow scientist, Gary Ward, and their Indonesian field guide, Derajat Saputra, or Reggie, as he was known. But he didn't just kill them. He cannibalized them. That's why we gave him the name in the papers, the American cannibal.
The body of Dr. Ward was never recovered, but investigators did manage to locate the body of Derajat Saputra. There were severe bone fractures. There were several cut marks to the bones. The skull had been smashed open. His body had been harvested. And the fact that he had done this to an Indonesian citizen caused tremendous public outrage.
The first thing I thought when I was informed about Timothy Darrow, I thought crowds might storm the embassy. It's not a stretch to say that we were worried about how the Tim Darrow case would affect our standing throughout the entire region. I mean, you have to remember, he was convicted of killing them with a rock. It was savage, what he did to them. The Indonesians elected not to execute him, which was really more than we could ask, given that he never recanted his story of what had happened.
Darrow came out of the jungle, covered in blood, telling a ghost story. That was a myth. His whole alibi was a myth. He convinced no one of anything except that he was a very sick, very deranged man.
By the time I started working in Flores, nearly 25 years after he'd been convicted, he was regarded as a Colonel Kurtz-like figure. Tim Darrow, the crazy American ornithologist who had entered the jungle and killed his friends, and then claimed that little wild men in the trees were to blame. I was on Flores as part of a research team from Wollongong. We were looking for evidence of early human migratory routes to Australia when we unearthed something completely unexpected. We found an unknown species of human, a species of little wild men.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Royal Institution. Thanks for coming along to hear news of this remarkable discovery. Here we have a creature that was substantially different from modern humans, a totally new species of our genus, living on the planet at the same time as us.